Howdy. It is 11:12 p.m. on Saturday, May 18th, 2024. This is week 20. So, I suppose that makes it more than a third through the year now, which is kind of nice. It's windy out. Clear skies, pretty much. I love when it's like this. It's like a decent warmth, and we have clear skies, so I can see the planes and the stars and whatnot. So I have been perpetually behind on sets and posts pretty much the entire week. I would essentially catch up on my days off, but then pretty much fall behind on the next couple days, essentially. And that's been pretty consistent. I currently owe myself 2 sets and 3 posts. So I'm probably gonna just count like not give myself credit for working out today, and the same maybe for tomorrow as well. Just to see if I can get back on top of it, because literally it's like 1 or 2 days. I don't know if I want to adjust the amount that I'm supposed to be doing. Like, do I want to make it 3 out of 5 days, or 3 days a week instead of 5 days a week, or if I want to do 3 sets a day instead of 5 sets a day, or if I want to do less reps per set, or if I want to, that kind of thing. I personally just consciously don't. I want to continue along. I feel like I can, and I want to continue along with the pattern that I've been doing. So for now, I think I'm most comfortable with just, if I need to take an extra day off, it's like take the day off and ding myself. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially it. So I've been, fighting hard to not ding myself for a hot minute now. And it's like, basically I could do it. What it looks like it wants to be is, it looks like it wants to be either I do 3 sets a day, or I work out 3 days a week. So something like 15 sets a week, or 20 sets a week is basically what the number looks like it wants to be. Because I haven't been able to, I've been taking that extra cardio day, which is kind of okay for me right now because I'm doing a lot more walking, and I'm pretty much consistently staying behind about the same. So it's like, okay, so that's 4 days a week at 5 sets a day. That's 20 sets a week, which is right around what people would recommend anyway. So that's like 3 sets 5 times. No, hold on. That's like 4 sets 5 times a week, or 5 sets 4 days a week. Which, by the way, the 4 sets a day seems a lot easier, so it makes a lot of sense. And then I might just purchase the 50-pound dumbbell in about a month from now, to start instead of going straight to the 80 pounds, because there might come a point where I want to stop and maintain as well. It might be 50, you know? But monetarily speaking, I think that makes the most sense. It's like, just keep pushing with the 45s until I get to, the 50s, purchase the 50s, and then continue with the same schedule, and then maybe like ease up for a bit and maintain, or just keep going up incrementally. It's possible. Or do that until I feel super comfortable with my situation, to where like, okay, I'm committing to, or just my money situation in general. So that, I love how it gets windy every time I do this. It's never as windy as it's never as windy out here as it is when I do these. I swear to God. Yeah. I'm feeling good. I actually have physically I have hip, something that's going on with my like pelvis hip area on my right side. My foot's all right actually, but there's still a little bit of pain there. I have pain in like my elbows, which, if you think about it, a lot of my sets, my hands, if you think about it, a lot of my sets, if I'm doing dips or whatever, curls, pull-ups, a lot of elbow stuff. So, and also I feel like there's it seems like it's been a little bit harder to maintain a smile physically as well. Like, there seems to be like more of a natural dragging of that down. But I mean, I guess that makes sense, So I attended the classes that I had booked for myself with Umar and Mansa. It's interesting because they were, I want to say, it's like not impressive. There's another word I'm thinking of. What is the word? I'll think about it in a minute. Yeah, not impressive is the word. It's like a synonym of not impressive. Sub something. It's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, not impressive, sub something. Man, this is killing me. Literally looking it up. Yeah, lukewarm is another one. Just like not impressive is the word I'm gonna go with. I'm really trying to think of this word because it's really on the tip of my tongue. Unimpressive. All right, sorry. So, I asked my question to Brother Umar, and he answered me with, it was basically like a non-answer. It felt like, there's a lot of people going through the process, and, if you haven't had a call with them yet, usually that's when the process of trying to settle would start, is essentially what he told me. And then the thing with Mansa, he didn't really give what I expected, which was and it's like I don't really want a template. I just kind of want to understand what to say. I mean, what is the basic idea? And I guess he did give that, but it's so vague that I don't understand quite how. I mean, to be fair, I didn't watch the whole thing all the way through yet, so there's that. But based on what he said, I have an idea. I did come up with an idea of what to do. So with Brother Umar, he basically said there's going to be a call. It's preliminary hearing. Kind of feels like it might be. If it's similar to courts I've been in the past, it's kind of like a am I going to forget another word? An arraignment. Yeah, it's kind of like an arraignment. Uneventful is another word. I'm still trying to find. Uninspiring. I feel like it's sub something is the word I'm looking for. Anyway, yeah. So he basically told me it's gonna. So the idea I got in my head is basically it's like an arraignment. So we're gonna look at the charges, right, quote unquote, and it makes sense because if there's a lot of people, then it's like they have to handle it this way. It's similar to, county jail. If they have a lot of cases all the time, it's like you go to arraignment. This is the first time they're looking at the actual case, and the first time they have to be there because they're not gonna look at evidence and stuff before then. That's just how it works. They get backed up. So with these in my cases, they've done what seems to be a general refusal of the charges from Jump Street. So it makes sense that would be what they're doing, which is okay. Once we get to the preliminary hearing, if we get to the preliminary hearing, because there's so many steps that the consumer has to make to get there. Once they get there, then we look at the evidence, and then we can make an offer, which is exactly what happens at arraignments. They make a recommendation for the bond, and then they say what you would get if you pleaded right there, and that's it. And maybe when we get there, they're gonna be like, so basically what's gonna happen is we're gonna offer you something. Right? And then I have to be like, all right, cool. Because I guarantee you what they want to do is they want to get it out of their face right there. Right? And again, the longer it takes, the worse it gets for them. So for me, I'm not in a rush. I'm if I'm not presented with something that makes sense to me, then, I'm willing to fight it all the way through because I know what I'm saying is right. But obviously, it's kind of a game of chicken. That's how it works in both cases. It's like, well, we both want to get this resolved. I don't want to have to wait until that fateful day where the person makes a decision and then it might not go in my favor. So I prefer to resolve it, find any resolution, other than whatchamacallit, because it's not that cut and dry. But obviously, depending on how strongly each side feels, that's going to determine what kind of deals we're coming to. So I want at least $2,000 in a deletion, but I'm going to start at $7,500. I kind of expect them to start at $500. So we'll see from there. But it's like, I don't know. I kind of don't want to wait, but I kind of do at the same time. So I don't know. We'll see. Then the question with Mansa which was, okay, is this going to be the life-changing information? I really can't say for sure, because I haven't watched the whole thing. I only watched like a little bit of it to kind of see what the general things, because I was too like, my schedule didn't line up with it, so I just recorded it and watched it, skimmed through it later on. But what I did watch from it, basically, you're supposed to be, the main thing was adjusting a contract. I was expecting to see something about how to handle an adverse action. But regardless, it kind of inspired me to be like, okay, it's going to be, I just came up with my own solution. It's going to be an adjustment to the contract to do what I think they already do, what I've heard they already do, which is why this whole process makes sense. So it's like, and then essentially it is a security/assignment agreement attached to a contract, making it basically a non-risk. It's like there's no risk involved, which erases all reasons to deny you, essentially, besides discrimination. What the hell is that? I can't tell what that is. What the fuck? Oh, that's a lot of garbage bags and a garbage can. Okay. That's interesting. So that's where we're at with that. So then I think it was probably on Monday or whatever, I played a lot more Stormgate. I haven't been playing anything else, just been playing Stormgate whenever. It's like 1 or 2 games a day or 3 games a day, 0 to 3 games a day, something like that. And I feel like I've gotten better at it and my understanding has improved, but then also recently, there's been an adjustment to the meta where in a mirror matchup, there's a cheese that's been dominating. That's it's like, I don't want to play this way, and I don't see how to. It's just not fun. And same thing with the other races. Is there's these cheeses that have come up that it's like, okay, now I have to. It just hasn't been the most fun time. And it seems like that's the pattern with this game. It's like because the meta's not figured out to the point where it seems like it's fair and it's like balanced and stuff, broken stuff comes up, and then it's like, okay, the game becomes unplayable. So the process of kind of figuring it out is fun at first, but after a while things get a little bit fucked up. So, but it's like the only thing. I just kind of want to take advantage of the fact that the testing is available, and it's like the only way I'm gonna get better is by playing. So it's a little bit strange because I don't want to take time out of my sadhana to do that. And I know that I need to it's like I need to suffer a certain amount of, I need to go through it. I need to actually take my L's before I can start dishing it out. But I haven't wanted to take time for myself to do that. Speaking of which, I've been putting collective days in a row of starting the day off on the right foot, staying focused on it, keeping my spirits high, and just it's kind of funny because the days seem to be going by very quick. Time seems to be flying because when I look back, and this is the way it's supposed to be, it's like, well, what did I even do with my time? It's like nothing. you relaxed. You know what I mean? It's like, how did I actually manage to kill a whole day? And I didn't watch anything. I didn't do, like, I did nothing. Like, at least it's like, what, it's like, I really did it feels like, he's like, did I really just zone out for whatever? It's like, yeah, basically. I've also seen an increase in the intensity of my sessions. By the way, I forgot to mention that the whole security assignment agreement thing was a ChatGPT kind of. I don't know if I was collaborating with ChatGPT with that. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. But yeah, the sadhana has been good. I seem to be able to relax. I seem to be able to focus on that. I would like to focus on it more. Speaking of how you need to how you get better at Stormgate by just doing it, it's kind of like that with me with this now. I need to. It's a momentum thing. It builds up over time, so you just don't want to allow moments to pass by without adding to that momentum, because you want to reach new heights. But yeah, the intensity of the sessions has definitely improved. There's been some natural progression, if you will, for me, where I've just kind of started doing things, in connection with Facebook Messenger and the chat head, and I had conversations, more kind of learning conversations, with ChatGPT about things that are like related to the sessions, and also I got back on Reddit, and it just seems to have had a major effect on the intensity and the frequency of my desire to do it. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that I guess it's like I never thought of it a certain way, what I was doing, and then now I come to realize, like, oh, this is an actual, like, legitimate practice that people do, and I essentially stumbled upon it. I came to the conclusion I did it naturally, but it is a legitimate and real thing. So I recorded a song called Unlimited, which was like impromptu. It's like I don't want to go outside and record. I just kind of want to. I just want to make something casually, and I want to. It's like if I do it in a way that's just like conversational, kind of like how I'm talking now, I could just do it in my room. You know what I mean? So that's essentially what I did, and I also knew that it wasn't going to be hard to do, because I was going to punch in and even do half bars, do single words if I have to, that kind of style of a track. And honestly, those are the ones that I feel like I enjoy the most, because it's like I say the words how I want them to be said. The writing process is fluid. It's lighthearted because I'm focused primarily on the rhyme scheme. Obviously, I have to say real words, so whatever words I'm saying are words, and and it won't be completely. It's not going to be completely nonsensical. Like if it was a freestyle, it could be. But so I just I have more time, but it's quick at the same time. It's fairly quick, and I can quickly make something that is both insane in terms of flow and then actually, communicates some type of message coherently. So in this one, I'm talking about what's a lot of bragging going on. Just saying I'm that dude, essentially. And then talking about how I'm Christian. And it's encouraging as well. So it's a nice little, it's like, it feels like like the beat or whatever, it reminds me of like a Muppet Show kind of thing. It feels like a very trippy, like child's cartoon is what it feels like. But I really enjoy it. It also has some similarity, which is odd. It has some similarities to other beats that, like, there's like this common thread amongst beats that I've selected recently, and they're not made by the same people. So it's really interesting. That's why I love the creative process, because like it just, you can see it kind of taking shape and taking form, and it's like, even though you're involved and even though all these different elements that come from all these different places are involved, it's kind of like the Iron Giant when all the pieces come together at the end of the movie to reform himself. It's like the creation itself is an entity. It has an identity, and it just takes all these different parts to assemble, essentially. Speaking of that, I was speaking about how I did this drawing, or I was drawing last week, and really what it was that kind of sparked it was that I had an idea in my head of an image, and it's like, okay, but there's no way for me to create this image, like, if I was gonna, I can't just type it into Google, I can't just type it in DALL-E and it have the essential elements of what it is that I'm trying to create with it. So I basically like drew like a rough draft of, there's a bunch of people in it, right? And like, how the people would be positioned and what the setting would be like or whatever. And basically, I just had the idea, and then I started to kind of sketch it. And in the process of doing that, right, because I can't draw. I'm not like, I can doodle. I like to doodle sometimes, but I can't, if you ask me to draw something, I can't just draw a thing well. So it was like sculpting, I was like I would just draw something that I'm trying to draw over and over again, lighter, and then starting to dark details in as it starts to kind of take shape. It's like, okay, yeah, I like when I would erase something and draw something a certain way. It was just trial and error, essentially. And I got to a point where, I basically achieved what I wanted to achieve with it. And it's not done. Like, it's not a it's not a photorealistic drawing of exactly what it is that I want to do, but it has the elements of what I need it to have for me to be able to see the image that I want to see on the idea is expressed, it's just not fully expressed. And it's like that same kind of thing happens with, like I was immediately thinking of music, like, yeah, no, it would be better if it was first of all, if it was like a 3D render or a live action render of the picture, right? Because the idea would be a live action picture, right? In my head, that's what it is. So, but if I was to go to DALL-E or whatever and do that, there's going to be details that I'm never going to be able to get it to spit out correctly. Especially if it was about specific identities, including myself. If it was specific people in the picture. So, I got it to a satisfactory level for myself. So, okay, I can see what I wanted to see. It's similar with music. Like, yeah, ideally it would be, like mixed, mastered, recorded in the most ideal way. But the important aspects of what it is that I'm creating comes out in the sketch, if you will, the demo of it. And also, like, I know I'm not alone on that. Like, I've seen somebody who was, like, somebody's drawings recently where it's like, it seems like it's unfinished, but it's like, no, it is finished. Like, basically, the coloring or the shading would only be on certain parts. And it's like, that is the important part. The rest of the parts are like, it wouldn't be what it was if it was also that. So kind of like there's like this short meme clip going around of this lady who's like, if you put whatever cheese in it, it'd be more like a carbonara. And the guy was like, if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike. So like like all of those things combined to say, like, the thing wouldn't be the thing if it didn't have all of the different elements that made it, including whatever quote unquote flaws you could perceive with it. And also for me as the person creating it, you don't really know, like, do I want this image to be photorealistic, or do I want it to be a 3D render, or do I want it to be, like, what style do I want it to be? The style that it is allows for certain things, and it also emphasizes certain things, right? Like, brings things more to the foreground that are more important to the artist, right? So, like with this particular thing, it's like there's certain details that matter and other details that don't. So it's like, if you were to do it in another style, is it going to distract from those elements? You know what I mean? So same thing with music. If you have like somebody's voice, then you have to think about if you mess with somebody's voice or whatever, and then the setting. If someone is in a particular setting, like a lot of that stuff was created just in a drunken fucking state, randomly chilling. It all kind of and it was not written down. So the way that I said it, the thought of it happening, it was all connected to that setting that it was created in, which bled through into how it's the finished product, which in this instance, like, you can probably hear those bugs in the background or whatever those chirps are, grasshoppers or whatever, wind, XYZ. So in some of those, there's like literally cars driving by. You know what I mean? The way that the way that I sound because of where I'm at. Because if I'm outside, there's no reverb, right? Basically, that kind of thing. These are like small details people don't think about, and which is why it seems to be like, for me, it's like it's almost like it feels, it's like, is it laziness, or is it just like, this is the way it has to be, for me to not want to change something that I would like to change. It's the same thing with the drawing. It's like, okay, I could, because I haven't touched it since I sat down and did it the first time, right? I intended on doing that, but I'm like, what if I make it worse? You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, I could change the things that, like, it's already good the way it is, right? I like it the way it is. If I edit it, I might make it worse. I might like it less. All right? The effort I put in, the expectations I had, the process in which I went through to actually create it, it's already a done created thing. Not that it can't be improved on and worked on more, but that just seems to be a constant kind of thing I wrestle with creative shit. It's like, well, I like where I have it. If I go back and mess with it, it just feels like I don't think I could top it. I don't think I can because I already like it. So, and I did some of that with this project where I kind of changed stuff because it was like, and I don't know if I regret it. I don't think I do actually. But it's like there's an element of there's a sacrifice, right? That took place, like the way that I said it, the emotions that I had when I said it at that time are slightly different. But it's you have to pick your poison. Did I want to leave the imperfection that was in there already, which in my case was like potentially background noise probably, or it's like, could I get it close enough? But it does feel like this Band-Aid put, like, it's like a repaint job or something. You can just tell there's like a little something wrong extra about that little piece there. And, you know, so, just an idea. It's best if it could be like in an ideal situation, you have an area where you can capture thing. But even that, I'm saying, like, even that, it has its own flavor to it. So the way that I have my setup right now, I'm actually really happy with it. I can move around, I can do it anywhere, and I'm getting better at actually doing it with it. So yeah, I've been doing my schoolwork. Still, it's the same. It's the same. Like, in terms of how the schoolwork's been working, it's like I'm doing it the day of. The reading, it's like it lags behind a little bit, but I do the majority of the reading the day of, and then I do the assignment. I basically have an A in one class and a B in one class, like an 89 in one class, and well, actually, shit, I almost have an A in both classes. My fault. I have an 89 in one class and I have 100 in the other class. My fault. And yeah, that's just been what it is. I haven't been able to do things early yet, unfortunately. So it's like the days off are like full sadhana days, and then the days with it I try to mix it pretty well. But and it is I do a pretty good job of that, actually, of mixing them. So there was recently a very intense urge to drink. It was really quite interesting. I had already been thinking about it kind of recently, like, it's been more on my mind. I had a dream last night, actually, that I drank a 40, and it turned into this huge thing. Like, somebody saw, someone in my family saw that I did that I drank, and they, like, literally went around to all the people around. Like, they were just telling everybody that would listen to them, basically. Once they discovered that I drank one beer, they were going around telling people that I had drank a beer, like, to basically set the stage for, like, I'm telling you there's going to be an issue. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, why are you, and basically I confronted them, and I was like, why are you, like, going around fucking campaigning for the fact that it's like I had a beer? Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, I woke up at like midnight, a little past midnight. So I only had a limited time to go to the store if I was gonna go. And, I kind of had to talk to myself. I wanted to call somebody, but I was like, basically, like, what is the problem? Like, what's the issue? You know what I mean? Like, there's this kind of like, there's like this desperation or something that comes up. It's like, you know what I mean? And I think what I got out of it was, like, I might have been a little bit overworked. What I really was wanting was not alcohol. It was the it was to relax. You know what I mean? It was to let my hair down, if you will. And it was weird because I didn't expect that. And I'm talking about this, like, including sadhana as part of it. It's like, that's why I put worked in quotations, because really I'm not doing shit. But I've been on consistently for like a good week or two. And I feel like I wanted to I guess not be so aware, not be so aroused, not be so, whatever. So what I ended up doing was I just like watched a movie, which, by the way, in the movie, I watched Dodgeball. The main character, I swear, in almost every scene he's drinking. It might have been every scene. But yeah, and I just seen that it popped up on my YouTube recommended Dodgeball, and Dodgeball is a classic, so I just watched that movie. That was like my way of like, okay, we'll relax. I'm not gonna drink, but we'll relax in this way. But yeah, it was very intense because I was really like thinking about it. I'm glad I didn't. For the record. But yeah, for whatever reason I just wanted to do it. It's funny because the more I thought about it, the less I wanted to as well. I was like, it was like, oh, it's this time. You know what? I think I'm gonna go do this. And then I wanted it. Then I started to think about, the actual process and like what I would actually do and everything like that. And then I was like, okay, I'm not taking it off the table, but I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna like move calmly. And then as time passed, it's like, okay, I don't really want to. It's like I'm gonna be there late, and stuff, and it just became less and less alluring. But I had to mention that. And finally, this is already long. Finally, I just found out that Drake has 23 LLCs. So, and I got the names of them and everything. So, the reason why I think this is interesting is because, my plans. It's almost like, anyway, it's what inspired me to come out here. I was gonna kind of do a voice note, kind of do some introspection, but because of the day, the time, or whatever, I'm like, I might as well just do my blog. So, but yeah, I just found out that he has 23 LLCs like an hour or two ago, and it makes me feel like, again, there's the things that I'm tapping into, the things that the conclusions that I'm coming to around business and around spirituality and those types of things, they're all legitimate. There's actually other people that do that and like teach that. You know what I mean? But for myself, I'm just taking the elements of things that I'm learning and kind of running with the concepts. And when I do that, I get to, it's like, oh, that's this thing. That is a thing. Which, by the way, that's something that I came across this week is, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything's been done before creatively. So it's not about necessarily trying to create something new or trying to find uncharted territory as much as it is just expressing yourself. And the reason why that was relevant was because of Drake, because people say that he hasn't, like a critique of his is that he hasn't innovated. And I'm like, well, don't reinvent the wheel kind of idea. You know what I mean? Like, I like Biggie. Biggie is you know, oh, same old story, kind of like 2 Chainz. You know, it's like, oh, you know, you rap about and it's also the same for me. Like in terms of repetition. Like when I am rapping, I'm talking about a lot of the same things. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I like to include in music. That's what I like to hear about and talk about, because it's fly. So it kind of made me put at ease. I'm like, I'm not gonna, you know, if people critique Drake about that, they're gonna critique me about that. But yeah, they also critique him for a lot of other things that, you know, like people are talking about this LLC thing because it might be shady or whatever. And it's like, luckily for me, the person I was listening to that spoke about it wasn't doing that. What he was talking about was the concept of shell corporations and the concept of people, why people use them. And it's like, this is exactly what I'm using them for. And nobody told me that. You know what I mean? Nobody said, oh, this is a legitimate thing that you can do, blah, 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 or whatever. They just said, like, I just learned about what the purpose of LLCs and what you can do with them. And then I created a plan about how I would use them and how I would use many of them. And then it's like, oh, comes to find out, that's exactly what this motherfucker is doing. And he is one of the richest people in the world. And also, it might be that he has a lot of fucking baby mamas and shit like that. I don't think that's the case, but also, if you look at his baby mother, the way that I've always wondered, like, why does she behave herself so well? You know what I mean? Like, you have some people like Blueface and other people, you know, Kodak Black and people like that, like, who seem to get really fucked over by their baby mothers. You know, people that are married and stuff like that. But I've always been intrigued by his situation because, for whatever reason, he even mentioned it a long time ago in a song. He said, my dad still has child support from 1991. Meaning, like, he never paid it. So he knows, like, he's not going to be used, you know, as a come up, essentially. But she still chooses to behave herself. I don't think he's been put on child support, and or whatever. So it makes me feel like he knows something legally. He knows how to handle himself in a business sense, in a way that makes it so that she doesn't wild out on his ass and take advantage of him. Also, she seems like a relatively, like, educated individual. Potentially, I mean, she's not, I want to say classy, but the reason I say classy is because she's into art and things of that nature. But I only found out about her after it became public that they were involved, and I heard that she cleaned her image up because of the situation. And he has to have some type of leverage. I know he has money. I'm hoping it's not a fear-based thing, but there has to be an element of that, right? Maybe. I don't think so. Actually, I'm gonna say I don't think so. But yeah, I would hope it's not that. And that, you know, it's because he handles himself in a business sense that makes it to where it makes sense for her to behave herself and act in a way that makes him look good or whatever, because he has some type of leverage. And that leverage could very well be that his net, quote unquote net worth is dispersed among 23 different LLCs, and suing him for child support won't do anything. And that's probably what that is. And then again, why do you need 23 LLCs? Again, it's all tax shelter shit. It's all the shit that I've been talking about, that people around me, even today, like even people around me, when I have conversations, like if I don't have conversations about this anymore, but the people, like when I went to get funding this time, how my mom said the craziest shit about lying to get money, right? That's the attitude of fucking losers. That's what the attitude is. These motherfuckers, they're uneducated, uninformed, and they always believe that for somebody to be successful, they have to cheat. So they're good people and they don't cheat. That's why they're not successful. That's how they think. So people that see that he has all these LLCs are like, oh, you know, taxes, evading taxes and shit like that. Everybody looks down on that shit, and everybody, you know, tries to poo-poo you and make you feel bad for what you're doing because you're trying to do something nefarious. And low-key, it has gotten to me a few times. I'm like, am I trying to do something nefarious? When they say that, but then it's like for me to, because I think of myself as a good person, I would have cognitive dissonance if I was doing things fucked up. One of the lines in this song that I recently made is even real gold is fool's gold. You know, essentially, kind of talking about, well, first of all, stowing your treasures where moth and dust does decay, right? So even real gold is fool's gold because its worth is worthless in a spiritual sense, and the spiritual sense is the only place you can really find true value, right? So even a real dollar is a fake dollar, and then that kind of goes out to be like the Federal Reserve notes that you're talking about, right? That you work for, that you trade your life for, are pieces of paper that are a promise. It's basically a promissory note, which is something that you could also write. Which means that whatever value you say you're worth, you essentially are worth that. So there is no way, it's either that it's all fraud or there is no fraud. So either way, I'm not wrong. You feel me? It doesn't. So that's the thought process. And then, you know, yeah, people are shamed into becoming fucking slaves. It's really interesting. It's become a collective, you know, everybody's an agent of the fucking matrix, and they basically move that way. So, yeah, it's nice and bright out today with the moon. But yeah, I just thought it was a vindication that I felt when I found out that he has, and then I was able to see the names. Like, I'm gonna be able to see where these things are made at. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be able to see their fucking their filings over the years in a bit here and see what's good with them, because you know, maybe I could peep some game from that. But brother, he has 23 LLCs, and that's an interesting number as well because you know, Jordan. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I guarantee you they probably all have an insane credit score. And they all have different fucking assets and shit like that. So whatever his quote unquote net worth is, that's based off of his the man is beyond rich. That's what I'm saying. It's something about these light-skinned rappers, fucking 6ix9ine, for instance. 6ix9ine, yeah, okay, he was a big rapper, but he has way too much money. There is something about how he invests his money that is very intelligent, because he is essentially way richer than what he's earned. So it's the same thing with Drake. Like, he's being advised by Habibis or something like that, Jewish people. He knows what he's doing on a business front. And it just turns out like, oh, yep, he's doing the thing, the 23 LLCs, he's doing the thing that I assumed a lot of wealthy people would be doing. And then it's just in line with how I would carry myself in business as well. So very nice. So let me try to wrap this up. I need to tighten up for next week. I'm trying to tighten up my schedule. I want to be able to kind of more sticking to that 4-hour segment thing, and really actually pumping out those 5 sets and pumping out those 4 sessions. Boom, 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 like a machine, right? I want to reorganize by cleaning my room. I need to take a shower, you know what I'm saying? Reorganize mentally, so I have like important dates. Like I have for school, I have this cultural Zoom meeting that I have to go to for a project, right? on the 21st. I need to have that set up. I need to know, important dates coming up, meaning like when I need to be enrolled in school, when the term ends, when the next term begins, all these things. I need to have an idea, an outline of the timeline of how things are going to work. Also, I need to figure out my phone situation. I need to figure out my website information situation, meaning I need to either re-up on my phone with the previous situation or find another situation. I need to, again, either re-up with my website situation or find a free situation. I need to file my BOI. That has just been lumped in with these other things because it needs to be done, but it really isn't time sensitive. I need to figure out what's going on with my Mohela deferment. I mentioned that last week, but I actually got an email about it, so I need to make sure that it's doing what I thought it was going to do. Like I spoke about with arbitration, I need to basically schedule the preliminary hearings and attend them and have my evidence ready and things like that. So, yeah, that's a lot. I need to figure out where the flowers are going to be planted, and I need to potentially start the next germination. I need to figure out my EBT workaround. I need to enroll in classes for next term, and I need to watch the Mansa class, potentially purchase another class that he has out, and iron out the process that I want to use for that. Is essentially it. So yeah, I think I covered everything pretty well. I'm gonna take the next couple days off. I'm gonna make up the 2 sets and 3 posts that I owe myself, but I'm gonna dock myself for 2 extra days off, which means I would have worked out like 3 days this week. But next week I'm gonna try to do and I mean, I'm probably still gonna take the extra cardio day. So it's gonna be working out like 4 days a week, 5 sets a day, or 5 days a week, you know what I mean? Something like that. And I'll accept that as sticking to the program. We're also gonna be upping it to 13 reps a set, too. So, I love you. I appreciate you listening to me. Just keep on keeping on. This is only the beginning, baby. We got about 35 or 36 more weeks left to complete mission 381. Golly, it's really been quite amazing so far. We've already seen a huge uptick in our credit. We've gotten school started. We've moved from working out with 20-pound dumbbells all the way to working out with 45 dumbbells. And there's these kind of things are all things that have lagging indicators, meaning that they are the results take time to start showing themselves. And the first big one is going to be getting the lump sum from school. That's going to be a huge sigh of relief, and it's going to only be the next month or so. And then the arbitration process. So far, it's just kind of moving along, but that preliminary stage has to take place for the settlement to actually come, and settlement and deletion. And when that happens, that'll be another huge boon. And then hopefully that happens fast enough. But also, we have some pre-approval applications that we could put in with a bunch of different banks. Which, if it's like, 1, if it works, beautiful. 2, if it doesn't, we can use that as evidence in our case without really hurting our credit, because it's pre-approvals. So yeah, that would be quite an amazing, like they're literally just kind of building up still. So, but we're already in a much better place. Um, we've gotten to the point now, because we're picking up from where we left off the year before, right? We spent the year, last year, all the way up to this point, kind of establishing, just eating healthier and working out. And, it took months to even get to that point. This year, we started off, a couple months before the year even started, right there. So then, we've actually been putting in that time for 20 weeks now. And we've gotten to the point of, it's like, I want to say, because low-key, this is how I feel every time. It's like, this is nearly perfection. You know what I mean? But I'm sure it's not, and we'll figure out why it's not over time, over more and more, continuing to build and build and build and build and build. But I think I'm really onto something with the whole sadhana practice, and the sovereignty I have over my situation right now, the lack of influence from other places there is. I haven't received any money from anyone for over a month now. I don't think that's by accident, and I haven't, there's, like, I'm not receiving any help. You know what I mean? It's to the point now where I can't even get a ride somewhere if I wanted to get a ride somewhere. And it's liberating, because literally it's like, okay, I have everything that I need. I don't need anything from anyone else. And I'm still going to succeed no matter what. I just have to continue to do my schoolwork, continue to do my sadhana, and continue to take care of my body, refraining from certain things. And the progress will build up. And I will be, financially, spiritually, and physically successful. Potentially even rich and famous. So, and even if it's like I'm already winning. That's another thing. I think that's something I gotta write down. I'm already winning. Just because of the fact that I'm enjoying my life every single day, and I'm living a healthy, sustainable lifestyle, that's already a win. That's the win right there. But then also, as a result of doing that, my situation is improving, so that it begets itself more. Now I'm more comfortable. Now I'm more happy. More and more and more and more and more and more and more. And once I there's different benchmarks, like, getting my credit repaired fully, having what's it called, runway financially, which I've always had, but now we're gonna get to another level, increasing my financial runway, my time for sadhana, time under ritual or sessions, and then like my actual credit itself, to where we're talking about achieving financial freedom. Like the whole plan is in place. I know how I want to go about doing everything. The strategy is there. It's all about doing at this point, It's all about practice. This is the lifestyle I want to live, and I'm just going to get better and better and better at it, even from recording to, real-time strategy, to school, to working out, to finances, spirituality. All of those things I'm making progress every single day in all of those areas. And I'm not in my final form yet. But basically, like, if you're looking at like an evolution, I would give myself, this is like the second evolution, if you will. If it was Pichu, Pikachu, Raichu, I think it'd be better to do one with a mega. Let me use let me use does Raichu have a mega? I don't think it does. I'm gonna say, so Raichu doesn't have a mega yet. But yeah, if it was like Pikachu, Raichu, and it's kind of fitting because we'll just call it. So yeah, basically I would be in a Pikachu stage right now. You know what I mean? I have evolved past pleb status. I have some motion to me. I have some respect about me. But once I get these, once I have the financial stability and runway to starting some LLCs and getting them funded with the credit scores, then we're talking about Raichu status. And then once we get the full owning, the final form, that's Mega Raichu. Alright. So yeah, basically we're like the middle evolution. We still have room to grow. But I will become that person. That's the thing. This is a real process that has to take place. It's a legitimate strategy. It's a legitimate character type. It's a legitimate thing. It's a real thing that exists, that everyone in that process had to go through. Everyone that evolved to that final form had to go through all of those stages that you're going through right now. It's a real thing. So, I just want you to understand that and keep going. Keep your eyes on the prize. All right? Once again, I love you. I appreciate you listening to me. That's week 20 in the books. We are just getting started.